honor to be on stage with Congressman McCormick. Congressman, I have some policy questions, but I thought we'd start with something personal. And maybe you could talk to us a little bit about what sparked your interest in India and why you wanted to be the co-chair of the caucus.
Well, my first experience with India was when I was a young Marine. We went over to India as part of the presidential support for Bill Clinton when he went over to visit India. Learned all about Kashmir, learned about the political challenges they had both economically and with a huge population. Now they're at 1.47 billion people, the largest population in the world, being a democracy and all the challenges that come with a diverse population. Seeing how diverse they were was really something that's eye-opening for an American. Most people think of Indians in this homogenous sort of way, just like America maybe is putting that, but we know how diverse America is, but India is equally diverse. If you think about the economic diversity, skin color, height, religion, just approaches to life, it's incredibly diverse. I learned so much when I was there. And then when I got out of the Marine Corps and went to medical school, and then in my district, we have 1 out of every 5 doctors is from Indian diaspora. People don't realize, but almost 10% of all doctors in America are Indian diaspora. I'm a physician. We have 14% of our district is Indian. We have an incredible education system as a result, incredible amount of wealth. When you see the most successful demographic in the most successful country in the world, look no further. It's a community that's very family-oriented, demands success, demands diligence, is creative, intelligent, and when they adopt you, you're like family. And I have adapted to the Indian cuisine, adapted to the way that they love and just really have cherished those relationships and to see all the technology that's coming out of that in my district, which is a top 5 district in wealth as a large part as a result of that. I've just enjoyed the relationships, and that relationship has, I think, propelled us in many ways to greater success in the United States.
Well, I won't ask you your favorite innovation because it's obviously something in the payments industry, but favorite cuisine, favorite dish?
Well, first of all, I will say 70% of America's fintech is based in my district. I think that was a plug right there. But my favorite cuisine, I would say I'm not a big vegetarian, so I always like the chicken dishes. Gosh, you're putting me on the spot. I like the chai tea, actually, is my favorite.
That's great. Well, you mentioned the 1.4 billion people in India. I have 8,000 colleagues in India. It's our operation hub outside the U.S. It's a place of immense talent. It's where folks are driving innovation and financial inclusion and leading so many of our flagship programs. And we're able to be successful there because it's built on shared values and trust. And so that's really obviously important in national security context as well. Talk to us a little bit about U.S.-India national security and specifically in the Indo-Pacific.
We've always known that Israel is very important to us. As a matter of fact, I2U2, for those people who are not familiar with, includes Israel and India and the United States and UAE of all countries. To see the strategic importance of this country, people don't realize not only will they be the 3rd largest economy in the world probably within the next 5 years, but also think about geographic location to China and the Taiwan Strait. And 70% of all world trade goes through that corridor. The conflict that they have with China, which is a peer rival now, no longer just a sub-peer, but a peer rival, both economically, militarily, what they bring to the table, the conflict in the Arunachal Pradesh area. We have a constitution that's similar. I think one of the reasons that India is so successful is because they base their constitution largely on the way that we wrote our constitution, where you'd have representative government. They have a worldview that's similar to us. They want peace. They want to have strength. They want to see an economy that burgeons. They want to see opportunity for all. Very similar outlook on life, and I don't think that we have an imperialistic outlook. Neither do they. But you're seeing that region, which China is absolutely trying to dominate, trying to assert its economic dominance as well as its military dominance. We need a strong ally. There's nobody who's going to be as strong as India into the future as they increase their GDP investment into IT, into the military, and they continue to be great producers of products that we need. And we need a friendly country that can produce those things and it can create those economic ties with us. And I'd ultimately love to see us not just be friends, but be true allies. Yeah. We pledge our friendship where your enemies are my enemies, your friends are my friends, and we should have like an AUKUS type agreement where we should be sharing technology that will help defend our nations and make us stronger throughout the world.
Right. Well, let's stay on that topic for a minute. You've been a great champion of AI export controls, and specifically the AI diffusion rule. As India gets more advanced in technology and really leads the world in many places, where are opportunities for collaboration?
Well, first of all, look at what India's done just recently. I mean, it was kind of neat. During COVID, they came up with vaccination for the first time. Anybody who saw the movie, same producers did the Kashmir Files. They came to Atlanta. I got to go to the premiere. Fantastic movies. But what they did to put a spacecraft on the dark side of the moon for easily under $100 million. We in America, we can't even come up with a building to talk about putting a spaceship on the dark side of the moon for that amount of money. What they've done to advance themselves in a very short period is nothing short of miraculous. To see the advancement in technology, and I might add too that 250,000 students are right now in our top education systems right now, and I want to be careful about this because we're training them. They're going back to India and competing with us. But as long as there's friendly competition, I think that's good. We can collaborate. We can actually grow as nations together and do some great things. But I think we also want to be careful that we don't give the same access to people who are less friendly. When we look at the future of technology, when we look at the future of our relationships, as long as we're synergistic, and this is where, when it comes to military technology, we have to be careful, of course. But I was talking to Prime Minister Modi not that long ago about his idea what the military building facilities are going to be, like 51% India owned. I think we have to collaborate, and also if we're going to share that technology, realize that the United States also has to have the lion's share of certain technologies just so we can understand each other better. Right now we collaborate. I know Lockheed's here right now. We actually produce a lot of military parts over in India. As long as we keep those collaborative efforts, I think we'll be fine.
Right. Backstage, you were talking about leading a freshman Codel to India and meeting Prime Minister Modi. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? So
Prime Minister Modi, and this is no surprise to anybody here, is the most influential politician maybe ever in India. Definitely one of the most beneficial. Probably the most influential person in India since Gandhi. He is humble. The people that all knew him before he became the prime minister talked about him staying and sleeping on their floor when they came to visit. And when I was talking to him at a luncheon in India, in New Delhi, he was actually talking about he does not trust a politician that has not traveled from north to south or south to north on the main train coach. Once again, because he believes that if you're a man of the people, you have to meet the people. You have to experience the diversity and the breadth and the score of what India is, and that is its people. And he is a man of the people, no doubt about it. He comes across as somebody who's aggressively, almost nationalistic, but definitely understands the way of the world, understands how to develop an economy. I believe they're close to 8% development in expansion of their economy last year. I mean, they're on the right track. As a matter of fact, in some ways, I think they're almost more American than we are right now in that capitalistic mindset of expanding opportunity for everybody. And I'm a really big fan of his.
Yeah. Well, you know, he and President Trump announced that ambition of $500 billion of trade by 2030. A cornerstone of that, an important piece of that, is digital trade. Talk a little bit about how we can ensure digital trade stays on the agenda and how we continue to promote that and fight for fair markets on both sides of the equation here.
Well, as the wealth in India expands, and you're talking about a huge industry, you're talking about several $100 billion worth of a market in India, which will have the lion's share of all digital economies. And as that develops, and you're going to have access to almost 1 billion people right now, and we'll be over 1 billion people by 2030 as consumers, as traders. Why wouldn't you want to have a strong relationship where you're not inhibiting that through regulation or taxation? Free trade benefits everybody. That's one of the great things I'm really excited about when we negotiate tariffs. People always talk about the tariffs that are added on. How about the tariffs that are taken off, that allow us to trade without inhibitions, without things that create barriers? I think this could be the start of another lovely relationship between us and them that will benefit everybody.
Yeah. And as that advances, can you talk a little bit about the role of Congress? How's Congress going to play a role in this? How can they facilitate it?
Well, first of all, I hope that Congress doesn't create any unintended consequences. We're really good at that. We've done that through the years, through regulation, and I think we're to a point we realize we're so overburdened with regulation right now. For every piece of regulation we want to add, we should take away 2. Because quite frankly, we're overburdened by regulation. This hamstrings businesses right now. We have several departments that cross-regulate with sometimes contradictory regulations. We need to make sure that we don't do things to inhibit. We did with the internet really well. AI is the next big thing. AI is the most transfigurative technology we've had in, well, maybe ever. And we have an opportunity to right now to either let it fly, or you can see right now, states right now are trying to regulate AI. That's going to inhibit interstate and international trade. We have to make sure the government, first and foremost, doesn't get in the way. As a physician, we always say, do no harm. Congress always wants to help, but sometimes our helpfulness is one of the worst things we can do. And I would say, never turn back to the government to solve the problem that government created in the first place. I think one of the reasons I came to Congress is to make sure that the government didn't become too big and too overwhelming and get in the way, because I believe in you. I believe in all of you. I believe in individuals who are trying to do business and benefit your employees and benefit this economy. I'm not a big believer in the government benefiting that unless it is just to make sure that you have a fair share of that you're not inhibited from success. And I think we have to start there.
Well, Congressman, we have a little over 2 minutes. I'm going to end with a question for advice. In this room, you have some of the best leaders here in the U.S. and in India, in the public and private sector. How can we help you advance some of these goals in Congress?
First of all, support me and all your wildest dreams will come true.
That was.
I think when we talk about collaborative issues, when you come and you talk to congressmen around the United States, when you talk about the relationships we have, and you look at the legislation that's being produced that's helpful versus not helpful. I have bills out there right now that break down the barriers to trade that actually help us compete with China, help India compete with China, help the immigration system be fair and equitable, get rid of the 7% cap. Make sure it's easier to become a citizen for people who actually deserve it and actually bring something to America. Make sure that we have the ability to travel and trade between our countries. Make sure that we don't allow Hinduphobia or other things that inhibit our cultures from being collectively stronger together. Those are the things that we just need to talk about. We need to talk about loving each other as nations, because there are no 2 more important countries than India and the United States to the future of the world and the peace process. Peace through strength is also collaborative. And I think India is going to be a major player. I'm excited to work with them. That's why I'm part of the India caucus. That's why I feel like leadership was very much an important part of what I'm going to be doing in the future. I tell you, Beth Van Dyne's here. She is a 14% Indian diaspora in her district as well. Everywhere you see these communities, you see massive wealth, you see massive opportunity, and you see really good relationships. And that's why I'm here to prosper and make sure it continues into the future.
Well, Congressman, I think I speak for the room when we say thank you for championing this cause, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.